Welcome to the 11th episode of Conscious Awakening. Today we have David Wilson, a.k.a. David.Cuf, a.k.a. the person who actually produced my theme song. Well, not for the podcast, but I really love his work and I feel like it really fitted with my theme. So thank you again for that.
No problem.
Yeah, just keep doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And the wind is really blowing right now. So we are at Exploration Peak Park, picked by David, and Buffalo and Blue Diamond, Las Vegas. It's huge. There's a lot of people playing right now, which is pretty beautiful. Everyone's playing on the playground and playing with their family. But anyways, I just texted David this morning and I was like, hey, you down to do a podcast? And he was down. And
so now we're here.
And I really wanted to talk to David about two things. One is being an old soul, which is something Paris kind of mentioned in the first episode, and connecting with your ancestors. Because just from what I know you're also part Native American. And so ancestry is a really big part of your culture. And all right, we'll just trying to wrap my thoughts up. Let's just go back to the first thing I want to talk about. Being an old soul. When I first met David, I was like, before I even knew what an old soul is, I could tell that there's just this level of, I don't know, inquisitiveness that David has for his age. And I don't know, just being an old soul just means, if you haven't watched the first episode, it just means that you are very wise for your age. I mean, you age is just a number. But yeah, when I first met David, I was like, oh my god, yeah, he's an old soul. And can you kind of just explain, why do you think you are the way you are?
Oh man, just diving in deep.
Just a loaded question right there.
No, I mean, it's not loaded. It's I think that's an important question to ask. I think everybody should ask themselves that. Self-analysis is a big reason I am the way that I am. I guess I would say. I grew up in a very multiracial home, so I just saw all different types of people in and out of my life, all my childhood, and I feel like just being exposed to all these different cultures and experiences really taught me to not have any biases towards people based on how they look or how they present themselves, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just feel like growing up, I always had a very sociological way of trying to understand the world. I always asked questions about why the world was the way it is, and why people do the things that they do, and just in general, I always my mind always gravitated towards topics about psychology and sociology and stuff like that. So yeah, and just my endless thirst for knowledge, that kind of helps me shapes me into who I am.
Do you feel like you went through, we all go through our own struggles, but do you feel like you went through a lot during your childhood, growing up and being exposed to a lot of multiracial family households? Oh my gosh, my interview questions. Sorry guys.
It's all good. Thinking about it now, I'm sure I struggled, but I'm the type of person that tries to look at situations beyond face value, and I feel like when I tell other people my stories, they almost feel bad for the things that I've gone through. But in my perspective, it's not necessarily things that are bad. That's just the cards that I was dealt with, you know what I mean? And I realized from a young age, the faster you accept the cards that you're dealt with, the faster that you can move towards in the direction of creating the life that you do want.
And you feel like, I feel, how long have I known you? For like 3 years.
3-4 years.
4 years. Do you feel like right now, like where you are is just like where you need to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done, and we have like the rest of. I feel like I have just like the rest of my life still to achieve some things and stuff. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot of, in our generation, there's a lot of status anxiety. We're always hungry for something that is unattainable, and like we all want this like American dream, but nobody, like not everybody is really willing to sacrifice for those things,
Or like maybe put in the effort. I don't know.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And then also we have to reevaluate, like, you can be happy and not live the American dream too. You know what I mean? Like, what I love about the world that we live in now is like there's so many alternative culture, and like you could be into like the most obscure thing, and now there's probably somebody else out there that appreciates that same thing.
So to you, what is like your American dream? But wait, why does it have to be American? Is it just because we live in America? What is your dream? Why do we have to put that label on?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I just feel like it's like a collective dream that we all have, or that we're sold. You know what I mean? Like,
that we grew up with and we got taught.
Yeah, and we got taught from like what our parents thought it was, and what society tells us those things are. Is like big house, like 4-car garage,
raising
like,
a family.
Yeah, all that stuff. And it's like the reality is like you don't have to be happy to like have those things. You know what I mean?
Well, you mean you don't need those things to be happy?
Oh yeah, those things, that too. Yeah. And I feel like my personal American dream though is a lot different because of just the literature that I read growing up, and like the belief system I've just developed, I guess. For me, the American dream looks more so like communities of people getting together, and us becoming like self-sovereign, and like us accepting the responsibility that we have for our own individual lives, but also accepting the collective responsibility that we have to like uplift others.
Oh yeah. I mean, because essentially, we all have our own unique individuality, purpose here, but I mean, it's you need other people to help achieve that purpose for yourself, and it's like you need that support system. And I mean, if we're supposed to just be here by ourselves, then we should. Essentially, we're supposed to just be here by ourselves, but we're not. There's like all of us
together.
Here together, yeah. So might as well just like help everyone else.
Yeah.
And help you, and help yourself.
Yeah, of course. Like help yourself so you can help others more too. And I don't know. The American dream for me also seems like a world where like poverty isn't really a thing. You know what I mean? Like we just generally have a strong empathy towards people that may not have anything.
Yeah.
So we're willing to share what we do have.
But yeah, I mean, I remember talking to Gabe about that. But like, you kind of need those like third world countries or people in poverty to help teach you to be more compassionate and to help others. And yeah, it's just it's a lot of magic in the world.
Yeah,
it's definitely it's a lot. There's a lot just going on, and I love it. I used to hate it. The emo suicide kid.
Yeah. You
middle
want to like blame the world for like being as messed up as it is, but there comes a point where like you can only complain about that so much, and it's like, all right, like what can I do in my own terms?
Like what can I do to stop complaining and try to fix things? Well, not necessarily fix things. I mean, change things for yourself so that you can, I don't know, set an example to change others and to fix others. Not necessarily, I don't know, fix sounds like something's broken, but we're not broken. We're all good just the way we are, because we're all going through our own journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like generally there's a spirit of brokenness and like separation.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we all need to get lost to be found type thing. The whole
Yeah.
like duality, even though we're all just one being. It's just this world is very strange.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to I don't know. How do you feel? When do you feel like you became really conscious about the world? Was you just like when you were really young, when you started thinking, when you started speaking? Like how young were you?
I don't know, because it's easy to say like, oh, as a kid I felt different, because
Mhm.
every kid feels that way.
Mhm.
I think one of the first awakening moments that I knew that like I really was different was maybe around like 16, 17. I was going through therapy because I was going through a lot of problems at home, and my parents at the time were getting a divorce, and I thought that like getting a therapist would like help. And like it was really cool to be able to talk to a professional about like some of the things that I was experiencing in my head. And one of the things that she told me was like that I'm like a divergent thinker, meaning like I look at things from like multiple perspectives, and I don't like think in a linear fashion.
Mhm.
It's very like a bubble map or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that made me think about myself differently from there, I guess.
Mhm.
And just like the things that I was experiencing too, like at that time I was reading into like spirituality, and like I just became like very I don't know, just like exposed to a bunch of information about our perception of reality, our perception of who we are, our perception of who we are as a species. And that's when it like started to just tumble from there.
Mhm.
Really when I was 16, but I feel like the seed of it all like started before I was even born.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh man. But then, even though I feel like that happens to everyone, but then we get exposed to other things
Mm-hmm.
when we actually do get born. They're like, oh no, shut it out, shut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all like, no human is perfect. You know what I mean? There's still things that are unconscious that dwell within all of us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But I feel like what makes us unique is like what we have discovered about ourselves and what we're willing to share with the world.
Mhm. I definitely agree. That's like my ending. It's like yes, and next topic. Talking since we're talking about like all the stuff you're going through your family. So, when did you first have an experience of like connecting with your ancestors?
I think because like growing up for me, I was really interested in like world geography and like culture, anthropology, sociology, like all these different topics. So it was just natural that I like wanted to understand more about my own like ancestry and stuff. And my grandmother actually, she she did like some DNA tests or something. Like
Yeah.
but she did this like before 23andMe, like years ago.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when Ancestry.com like first came out, you know? And yeah, I feel like just learning more about like who my grandparents were and all that kind of stuff, and just spending time with like really old people, that was like to me connecting with my ancestors, because it's like even like they're still alive here, but like
Yeah.
I came from them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just spent a lot of time with old people growing up, and you know, even there was like this one winter I spent like 2 months just living with my grandpa, you know what I mean? Because I had never really spent like an extended period of time with him, you know? So I was like, I need to, you know, learn more and stuff. And yeah. I feel like it was just always there, to be honest.
Is it your grandpa that's Native? Is that the Native American side, or is it the...
He's part Native American, but he there's like a lot of other stuff mixed in there too, and like he was adopted and stuff, and yeah, just like around the time period and geographically where my grandparents were, being Native American like 100% wasn't like completely a thing as much, because Native Americans were just assimilated into like the culture, and like, you know, they were like just like you know, they started to have having kids with like white men and like stuff like that. So it was just like, yeah. But my grandma and my dad, they're actually like a part of the Sac and Fox tribe.
Oh yeah. I remember you told me that before.
Yeah. So that's based out of like Missouri, Nebraska, like Oklahoma, like all around that area.
Do you feel like your grandparents helped you with your journey of like being more conscious or being more awakened to yourself?
You know, I feel like they did, but I didn't realize it until I was older. Because my grandparents, they're kind of like, they're hippies, straight up. I mean, like,
nice.
They've definitely like tamed themselves over the years, and you know, they grew up, then they like matured, and you know what I mean.
They became more grounded.
Yeah. But when they were young, they were very, just like very different, and they were, they were just like a part of the counterculture in the 60s and stuff, 70s.
Man, that's so cool. It's crazy because when you say that you grew up with old people, I mean, I did too, but I didn't want to be around them. Because I agree, like, well, not I agree, but I also felt very different when I grew up, and I always felt like I had to fight everything because, like, I just feel like I wasn't understood by my family.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I definitely can relate to that too, because, like, my grandparents, they live in the Midwest, like in Texas and Kansas and stuff. So like I didn't really see them all too often. Like most, I also had like my step grandparents, like from my stepdad, and then my mom's parents. They had actually like passed away before I was even born, and they lived in the Philippines, so I never got to meet them. But but like being around, like my mom's side was also like there was just a lot of like tension, and like I didn't really feel like they understood me because a lot of them, they came from the Philippines, and like
traditional.
Yeah, very traditional.
Same. But it's like before, when I did grow up, I like obviously didn't feel grateful. I'm like, yeah, you never understood me. Like, I don't want to be here anymore, type of thing. But then,
so you run away.
Yeah, you run away. I ran away multiple times. But now I look back and I'm like, okay, I needed those experiences to, like, teach me, like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I don't know if I want a family later on. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be closing off people from being themselves. Because that's how I essentially felt. Like, I felt like I was being closed off from what I really wanted to do and I wanted to be. So that like kind of stuck with me, and then that stuck in my subconscious.
Yeah.
But
that nobody understood you, or like nobody that you loved understood you. Yeah.
Or just like, or like love in general, because my mom never really told me like, oh, I love you or something. I think that's like an Asian culture thing. Like, people don't actually, like, parents don't say I love you.
Yeah, they don't communicate those
they don't communicate it. They like show it. So
yeah, but the way that they show it may not necessarily be the way that like
you're expecting the love.
Either expecting or like that you're not aware that that's them showing love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's that miscommunication in action, essentially. So yeah, but I feel like I've learned from that, and now I'm here, and I'm here to spread and say I love you, and have some dogs behind us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we talked about in the first episode with Paris about how we had an amazing Joshua Tree experience, and I was there to witness such a beautiful. It was a ceremony essentially. It was a very spontaneous ceremony. Are you okay if I talk about it?
Yeah, go for it.
So we were all sitting around in a bonfire. It was like six or eight of us.
Yeah.
Six of us.
Yeah.
And it was the first time. Oh my God, sorry, I'm sick, guys. So I'm like, okay. So it was the first time Paris and David met, but they connected instantly because they're soul family. And you actually got the experience to connect with your ancestors and go through like a download, essentially.
Yeah.
And it was really intense because even though I wasn't looking at you, I was crying, and I could feel that you were like going through some intense emotions. So I don't know. Do you want to just
talk about it?
Yeah, just talk about it because it was really beautiful.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we kind of just started to have a good conversation, both Paris and I, and then somehow we started talking about my ancestors and stuff. And at the time, I had this general longing to want to understand more about like my Native American heritage, and I was doing a lot of research and asking my grandma and my dad about things, and I felt like I had came across this article that basically talked about how certain experiences can actually be passed down through DNA. And yeah, it was just insane because there was part of me that felt the experiences that my ancestors went through, and it's not entirely my responsibility that those things happened, but like part of me felt like I was responsible to heal it. And you know, I think we're all well aware now that like Native American culture has become like just almost like it's almost like a genocide, you know what I mean? Like it's very, there's very little information about it. There's very, you know what I mean? We went from inhabiting this entire country to inhabiting very small pockets of land with no access to resources, and we had our culture, and we had our culture and our way of living stripped away from us, you know, and you know, a lot of Native Americans were murdered and slaughtered and killed, you know what I mean? And those are like very real things that happened, but we're not taught those things in American history. I mean, we're taught to like look over them as like very lightly things.
Yeah, like just the surface.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
No, you're not going on a tangent.
But yeah, so this is like kind of the state of mind that I was like experiencing at the time, and I just wanted to like communicate with my ancestors in some way, and I was praying to them, you know, because I just felt like, you know, that praying, like God has the ability to connect us to them, you know what I mean? So through prayer and stuff. But anyways, I'm sitting there with Paris, and we're all on a bonfire, and I start telling him about my ancestry, and Paris is just a very intuitive, spiritual person, and he actually was able to see my ancestors in the presence of me. And when he told me that, I could actually sense their presence as well. I wasn't able to like physically see them, but I could sense their energy was there and present. And when that happened, he was basically communicating messages to me from them, and there was a Native American chief and another man and a Native American grandmother, and he was able to describe how they look, and he was also able to communicate messages directly from them. And one of the messages was something along the lines of like, "Little bird, it is time for you to spread your eagle wings."
Oh.
And he presented it in a way that it felt like it was coming from that chief, you know, and the energy was just there, you know. And when that happened, I just had like a very not overwhelming, but like very sensational feeling. Like my entire body just became like zapped with energy from like another dimension of some sort, and an eagle flew out of my body. And
Sick.
Yeah, it was so crazy because Paris also mentioned something along the lines of the message relayed was remember who you are and remember where you came from. And when that happened, I had a vision of this place, and this place looked and felt familiar, but I didn't know the name of it, and I didn't know where it was. I didn't even know if it was in this dimension, you know what I mean? I felt like it was in the past, but it could also be in the future, you know what I mean? It was just, that's what I envisioned, and I felt all of this like information just being downloaded into my brain, and it was crazy. Like I almost felt like I saw a potential for what the world could be like again. Yeah, and that was just really inspiring. And you know, after I had that vision, I kind of like settled back into my body, and I had this very strong sense of knowingness.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, like I could feel just a sort of like sense of confidence that I've never been able to, I've never really felt like ever, you know what I mean? It was like, yeah, it was just insane, and I could feel it like pulsing through my body, and I could feel like a transformation taking place in me. I felt
like a bird spreading your wings.
Yeah, like a bird spreading my wings. But even like crazier, I was able to like see myself on a molecular level, and I could see like my atoms and molecules like changing around, and like
that's insane.
Yeah, it was just it was the most
it's very profound for you.
Super profound experience. But and then the following week I could sense a strong change and a stronger understanding of who I am and where I come from.
That's amazing.
It's cool, and it's like and there's kind of a second part of that experience too that happened, where he started communicating messages from the grandmother. And what's interesting is we had another friend there whose name is Ginger, and Ginger is also the name of my grandma.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I actually have been trying to meet up with Ginger, but our schedules hasn't been aligning.
Yeah. But no, it was just like one of those crazy like synchronistic moments, I guess.
It's a sign.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah. But so he started communicating messages from one of my ancestors, and she told me that she loved me, and that even though I can't see my ancestors, they're always in my presence. And I just felt like a very strong maternal love, or like a feeling of maternal love, like hover over me. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you get a warm hug from like your mom or your grandma. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like that.
It's very wholesome.
Yeah. But like that feeling just kind of, you know, when he was communicating that message from her, like that's what I felt. And he also sang like a lullaby from her, or through her.
Oh, wait, was I there for that? I was there for that.
No, I don't know if you were there.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But yeah, so he was Paris was communicating this lullaby, and I could sense the grandmother's spirit, and you know, I could hear her voice. And it was just like a really healing moment, because I could also see like red and blue energy inside of me, like
just like swirling
around. And like I felt like I don't know, masculine and like feminine energy was just
intertwining.
yeah, it was just crazy.
Yay! Oh, that's so cool. I feel like I think out of all of my friends, you're the only friend that I really know that really wants to connect with our ancestors. I don't know, because I never really had that feeling of like wanting to connect with my ancestors, but maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's because I just grew up in a setting where I didn't really, it sounds bad, but I didn't really care too much about older people just at the time when I was younger. Now I do. But if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I don't really feel like connecting with my ancestors, that's okay. I mean, some people just don't feel that connection, and that's totally fine. And some people who are watching this are like, oh my gosh, like I really needed to hear this because I am trying to connect with my ancestors. And so I don't know if you, I think Paris like told you like ways to connect with him. So, or after that, right?
Yeah.
So how, like, if how can you like start connecting with your ancestors? Maybe on like a very basic level.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like I'm still developing a relationship with them, even if they're not like present in this realm or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's hard because you can't really physically see them.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like a respect thing. You know what I mean? Like respecting that they exist. You know what I mean? And acknowledging their existence, because I feel like a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, like, you know.
They just deny it.
Yeah. Or, I mean.
Shut it out, maybe?
Yeah, maybe not even deny it. They just, like, they never took the time to think about it, you know? But, I would just say start, like, praying and, like, thinking about them.
Yeah, because your mind is a powerful thing.
Yeah. Definitely. Because, I feel like that experience happened in my life because, you know, I was thinking about all of this stuff.
You were manifesting it.
Yeah, it was like an
head.
accumulation of time that kind of like led up to that moment. Yeah, and I feel like there's also a sense of trust that we have to have in our ancestors, because, I mean, I feel for me personally, like, they have the ability to guide us, and like they also have the ability to protect us from certain experiences happening, you know? And they want the best for us, you know what I mean? I feel like in the world that we're starting to shift into, people are really going to manifest not only their own dreams, but the dreams of their ancestors. Yeah, but it takes people wanting to understand and like communicate, and you know, it takes a willingness to like dive down that rabbit hole, I guess.
Yeah, and you're essentially like, if you want to connect to your ancestors, you're kind of learning what they had to go through so that you don't repeat it. I feel like that.
Yeah, that's also a part of it too. You know what I mean? Even like going back just like one generation, like with your parents and like your grandparents. You know what I mean? Like they want the best for you. You know what I mean? They don't want you to turn out to be the kind of people that they are. Not that they're bad people or anything, but like they would hope that like you don't make the same mistakes that they did. You know what I mean? Because then if you do, then like that's also like that's like a confirmation for them that like they contributed to like that thing happening to you, you know? And like it's interesting, you know?
Yeah, and even goes through like emotions, because when Monet did my emotion code, she actually did like a generation emotion code. So like why I feel resentment now is because it went back like 3 generations. I don't remember how many generations, but like so many generations back. So I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I mean, but yeah, like, and I feel like those experiences that may have happened to our ancestors, they do pass on generationally, you know what I mean? And like, if a certain emotion is trapped, you know what I mean? I feel like those same things have the ability to like pass on to your offspring and stuff.
We're shifting. My foot's asleep. All right. Man, I ran out of stuff to talk about already. Is there anything that you want to say that you just wanted to say on the podcast?
Yeah,
Anything resonating with you? As we shift.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because Dave is a very intuitive person. I have noticed that ever since I met him. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. My feet are really cold.
Warm them up. I just want to say thank you. Most importantly, I feel like we just have such a wholesome friendship, and just like I'm very thankful for all the people that I'm surrounded with in my life, and it's so crazy because we don't know like what we actually. I feel like when we're younger, it's so easy to get like pulled in all these different directions, but as you mature, you start to find the people that you want to hang around with, and I feel like, it's just like our whole friend group is just like all really good people, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I'm just thankful for
you just gravitate, or these people gravitate to you.
Yeah, like naturally.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah, because I've been in a lot of groups, and because I've been in a lot of groups, I kind of realized like, oh, these are like not the people that I want to hang out with. Not saying that they're bad people. It's just like right now my wavelength has already gone a different direction. So now I'm gonna do my own thing, and then those type of people that are at my wavelength will gravitate towards me, and then I'll have that friend group. Because I always grew up having different friends. Just I don't know, just from I don't know, since kindergarten.
No, definitely. I can agree with that. I always felt like I was a bit of a chameleon. Like I enjoyed being dynamic and, being friends with all different types of people and stuff. And I still feel that way till this day,
Same.
But I feel like now I have like a solid, just like group of friends that like I can just, count on, if like they ever need someone to listen, or you know what I mean, or they can count on me and stuff.
Yeah, because you're essentially like you do that for your friends, and so you're attracting other people who do that for you. And I remember Joff was saying that you were telling him how we first met the other day.
Yeah.
I like picked him up at his house, never even knew him, or never even met him in person, and I went to his house. And he hopped in my car, and I was like, hey, your Uber driver's here. But I wasn't doing Uber, I was just picking him up. We went to go get tacos.
Yeah. But it was just funny because I went into the back seat knowing, like...
Wait, I thought you went in my passenger seat, but I guess it was the back seat.
But if you are getting an Uber or a Lyft, and you consciously decide to sit in the front seat, I think that's a power move.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, Lyft, I think... it encourages it, because Lyft is supposed to be friendlier and more personable.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's totally off topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually met David via Instagram, because Instagram is an amazing platform to meet other amazing people.
Changed our generation.
Yeah, pretty much. I used to hate Instagram. I had a love-hate relationship with Instagram, because we do get. I personally got sucked into the cycle of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
It's addictive. It's designed to be addictive.
Yeah. And it's crazy how people have realized psychologically that could be something that could be really addictive to somebody. And now they've made money off of it, and now it's just crazy.
Yeah. And now people almost feel like they need to be on Instagram to make money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I had that phase. I wanted to become an influencer and make money.
You are an influencer.
I mean, we're all influencers, essentially. Because essentially, after that phase of like wanting to become one and realizing, wait, we're just all influencers. Just be a good person and you'll influence whoever you need to. Yeah. So that's also off topic. We're all about getting off topic on this podcast.
Oh man, we could just go on a tangent, on tangent.
But going back to what you were saying, thank you for being here and being a good, wholesome friend. And sharing your vulnerability and experiences that you've gone through.
Yeah, I'm happy to share and just I'm just hyped to be on this podcast. You know what I mean? I was hyped that you wanted to use the music for the podcast.
Yay!
Yeah.
No, I seriously feel like that track was the best song for this podcast.
Yeah. It's. I feel like the emotion of that track too is like very reflective of like.
Wait, I got a question. So, do you feel like your music embodies like the consciousness that you grow up? Wait, that was scratch that. Scratch it.
No, I know what you mean though.
Do you feel like your music is your representation of your awakening throughout your life?
I would like to think that. I feel like my music is shaped by my personal experience, but it's also shaped by technology. I feel like the type of music that I make wouldn't have been able to be made without technology.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of a combination between like a very like human organic consciousness and like a technologically intelligent consciousness.
Yeah, because I remember when I first went hiking with David, he had his recorder, like this recorder, and he was just recording sounds, like the waterfall dripping, and I thought that was just really cool, that you integrated like natural sounds to your music.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, especially with electronic music, it's easy for it to feel very cold and like, for it to not have any sort of like warmth or texture, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to record my own sounds and being able to document my own experiences auditorially, and then like to be able to add that, it just like blows my mind, and it makes me so happy thinking about it, because it's like now I can communicate and express a certain emotion like more accurately through like my own natural record, you know what I mean? Like my own natural process of recording sounds and textures and stuff.
Did you ever make a track when you went to Zion?
I did actually. Yeah, I used some like water dripping and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually interesting, that song. I feel like it's one of my, I really like this song conceptually, but like from a technical perspective, I feel like I could have executed it more. Mm-hmm. But like the song itself is titled Mortality, and it was like during that time I felt like I named it that because it was a reflection of accepting our own one's own mortality. You know what I mean? That like this is our life, and you know we have to do with it with the time that we do have. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? Like at any moment, something could happen theoretically. You know what I mean? But I mean, we pray that like good things and like, you know, longevity happens in our life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like the possibility that like, you know what I mean? That I or anybody else in my life could just like not be here tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know what
be
I mean?
Here, at least in the 3D realm.
Yeah.
But I know your latest track, or I think, well, one of your more recent tracks, going back to like when you were saying thank you, and it's called Support, right? Mm-hmm. Was that your most recent one?
It's one of my most recent ones. I also released a remix that I did for this artist named Lethan. He did a song featuring Bipolar Sunshine, and that song was a lot of fun to make. But so I released that, and then I also released another track, a little bit more low-key. It's on Spotify. It's called Free Will.
Free Will, yeah.
Not Free Will, but Free Wheel.
Free Wheel?
Yeah, Free Wheel.
Like wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out David.Cuf on Spotify. Bandcamp too?
Yeah, Bandcamp.
Hashtag ad. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I found it amazing that you're like, in a sense, you're documenting your experiences through music, as well. And yeah, I don't know, I just find that amazing, because I don't know anyone else doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at it as a way to tell a story without using words, because I don't know, it has more depth and meaning to me. I feel like sometimes I'm still learning to use words to communicate.
Yeah.
But
Man, you should do a collaboration with Colleen.
Colleen.
She's the one that I did the episode of sound healing on.
Oh, yeah.
She's amazing because she actually records her own music too.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if she I don't think she produces, but she sings.
Oh, okay.
So that would be the sick collab, bro. But yeah, I would love you to meet her too.
Yeah.
Have you ever used like singing bowls or like rattles or anything like that in your music? Tuning forks?
No, nothing like that. But J-Roll has his singing bowl right now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, he just pulled it out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, J-Roll's over here just hanging out, being cold, wearing his face mask. Go watch his episode. What number were you? You were 8, right? Episode number 8. We're just all here. I'm just all here recording my friends and their amazing experiences. And I don't know. Just it's not over yet. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been listening so far because this has definitely been a journey. It's already been 11 episodes.
Yeah.
I was actually making my Instagram and I was like, wow, I already did 10 episodes.
Yeah. No, I'm really proud of you. Keep up the...
I'm proud of you too. I'm just so proud of my friends. Yeah, because so when I grew up, I always wanted to help people, but I always retracted. And now I realize that I always retracted because I wasn't helping myself. I was like, dang, that's deep. So yeah, no, I just, like I said, help yourself and help others. And support others and be proud of your friends who are doing really good things. And yeah, I just hope this is a good example of you to go out there and go do good things too.
Yeah. I actually saw this thing online. It was like a little paragraph, but it was a story about this guy who asked a girl out on a date, and instead of going out to like a dinner or whatever, they ended up buying like a bunch of dollar meal menus and just passing it out to homeless people like downtown or something.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, what a nice first date. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope they're still together. Yeah, sometimes going to the topic of like doing good things, sometimes with social media, sometimes it feels like some people are just doing it just to put it on social media.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just use your judgment to or your discernment to feel like if they're doing that for social media, if they're doing that to the good, like out of the good of their hearts. Yeah.
You know what's interesting though? I feel like seeing that on social media has a polarizing effect because you could either be on the side of like, oh, this person is like doing these good things, but they're documenting it, and they shouldn't document it because, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a genuine, authentic thing.
It's like fully genuine type of thing. Yeah.
But then there's also the other side of the coin of like, well, what if they just wanted to share something good with the world?
Yeah, and be an example.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, some kid could see that and be like, man, I want to do that one day. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's kind of like, it's so easy to be polarized on it, but it's like, if the only people that are going to know if it's out of the good of their heart is that person and the person that receives, and like, you know, that
exchange that happened right then and there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just being authentic and do good things. Are you okay? We're kind of getting chilly out here. Cold. It's getting kind of cold. The clouds look really beautiful. The moon is up there.
Yeah.
Celine. It's not a full moon yet, but I really don't have anything else to say. I'm like, my brain is freezing right now, and I'm thinking about the cold.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of random topics.
Yeah.
But
I just think about like, I want to have more of like a script or like bullet points and questions to outline before I go to these things, but sometimes I just feel like doing a random
like conversation
organic
is nice.
Conversation.
Yeah, no, I feel like that kind of stuff it's important, you know what I mean? Because when it's too scripted, it takes away from like the emotional delivery or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm still working of like trying to.
Hey, it's only episode 11.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude, Morning Dinner just hit 50. I'm so proud of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is like the third time I shouted them out. But like, hey, if you love people and you love what they do, like, you can't help but talk about them, honestly. Like the other day, or like you were talking about me, but now we're talking about Ja, because Ja's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to all my friends. And if we haven't met in person or talked in person, I would love to be your friend, especially. And David too. So announcement, I just released my Instagram for this podcast. I guess I'll just do announcements.
Yeah.
That's like one thing I want to start doing too. I just released my Instagram at Conscious Awakening Pod. So please follow me and I will follow you back. I'm all about equality here. And yeah, I'm just trying to post all my new episodes. Well, first I'm going to post 1 to 10 and then post all the episodes. It's technically, anyways, and I'm just gonna post really cool, like, I don't know, just affirmations and just little thought-provoking graphics,
Meaningful content
to start your day. not every day, but yeah, please go follow and
make sure to hit the bell,
the bow?
notification
oh yeah
button.
And hit the notification bow. Wow, I never realized that was a bow.
Or a button, I don't know.
It's like a flag.
Yeah.
Wow,
or a bell,
I never.
maybe? I don't know.
No, the bell's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the bell.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that I'm doing an audio recording and a video recording because I'm always so focused that the camera's there. But whoever's listening or watching, thank you again.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. What are you doing? You're like modeling.
I'm just
breakdancing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get some movement going.
Oh, here you go.
Have you ever tried hot hands?
What's hot hands?
Hot hands, they're like hand warmers.
Oh yeah. I have.
Oh.
Throw them. Oh my God. Thanks, Daryl. If you weren't watching, Daryl just threw some hot hands at us, and we
we'll
completely missed. Yeah, I really would love to do this like live so that people could interact, but sometimes you just can't.
Yeah, that's okay.
And that would take a lot of data. Anyways,
Yeah.
I have a lot of ideas moving forward, so I can't wait to execute them.
You got it.
Yeah, got it. All right. Any last words?
Love yourself.
You already
Take care
said
of
that.
yourself. Give yourself a nice hot bath with
Yes.
some candles.
Do some self-care.
Moisturize yourself.
Moisturize yourself, especially if you're in Nevada, because it's a little dry. It's a really dry.
Yeah.
Kiss a dog, kiss a cat, kiss your friend, kiss yourself. Show boy love and say I love you. We're not telling you to do though, or we're not telling you what to do. This is just us randomly talking and doing our thing. This is how our conversation with David usually goes. We're just like, hey, what's up, buddy? Give each other a warm hug. How's your day?
Yeah.
This is essentially what me and David always talk about. But yeah.
Different variations.
Do you have any last words, Gerald?
Stay conscious.
It's funny because it sounds like you're screaming from like 50 yards away. Stay conscious.
Okay.
Bye. Oh wait, like, comment, subscribe.